having money confidence in 2026 and becoming the financial leader that your business needs, because this is not just about money mindset. It's not about financial literacy and understanding the different attributes of money. It's actually about being a financial leader, because having a successful business does mean being able to lead successfully with your money as well. So, who am I? Well, I am a wife and mother of two teenage boys. That is my identity first and foremost. I spent 20 years in corporate telecommunications. I left 15 years ago to join my husband initially in his business, and then I set up the Money Confidence Academy. I have a podcast that's on a seasonal pause at the moment, but it is in the top 5% globally, which I'm hugely proud about. And it's called Let's Talk Money and More. I'm a money behaviour specialist. I have a master's in coaching and mentoring, and I educate both adults, teenagers, and younger people with regards to their relationship with money, because it is so important. People talk about financial literacy. Financial literacy is important, but there's never been more information available online. So for people to say, I was not taught about money at school, I don't know enough about money, that's an excuse, because actually that information is out there. What is stopping us from utilizing and going to find that knowledge is feeling a lack of confidence with regards to having self-financial trust. And self-financial trust is what takes us from working out what we want to do with money, how we're going to go about earning money, and how we're going to create the kind of life that we want to have as a result of the money that we are earning. And financial self-trust and money confidence goes hand in hand. And that's one of the reasons why I wrote my book, Parents, Let's Talk Money, because I believe it is vital, as Eve said, that we have these conversations at home and we don't leave it to other people to have those conversations on our or our children's behalf. So what will I cover today? I'm going to look at how money identity shapes all the decisions that we make on an everyday basis. I'm going to give you a simple money confidence lens to actually spot where and how you are capping your own financial growth. I'm then going to give you a tool, a really easy tool to use, so that you can check in with yourself on a weekly basis. And that's going to give you a real sense of clarity and control over the decisions that you are making around money. And then I'm going to very briefly look at the language that we use that can shrink or can increase our own view with regards to what we can magnetize when it comes to the money we're bringing into our personal life and bringing into our business. So strategy has never been the problem, because most women in business already do know what to do. The problem that we do have is a lack of confidence. And that is why so many of us, and I've been caught out with this time and time again, so many of us look to another qualification, look to do another course, look to join another membership, thinking that that is going to give us what we need. When essentially we need to look internally as to, why do we not feel we know enough? Why do we not feel we can give of enough? Why do we shrink ourselves? And when it comes to money decisions, very often we hesitate. We feel guilt when we think about charging more. We feel guilt when we have to say no to a client, and we start second guessing how clients and would-be clients feel when we make certain decisions, rather than making that decision based on knowing our skill set is enough, knowing the results that we bring for our customers, and recognizing the position that we want to hold in the marketplace. Because products, services, they are all sitting on a line, basically. You can get a handbag from Primark and it'll do exactly the same job as a handbag from Mulberry. But Primark have made a decision with regards to their price point. Mulberry have made a decision with regards to their price point. And neither worries about what the other is doing. They're purely focused on who their client is, how they market to them, and the price that their clients are prepared to pay in that marketplace. So the gap that we experience is hardly ever about knowledge. It is about the confidence that we feel about ourselves and the confidence that we feel when it comes to money. And confidence around money is based on the knowledge that we have around money, is based on our money mindset, the conversation that we're having with ourselves, but they are just two component parts. When we pull all of this together, this is when we start to understand that money confidence is having the belief to take the knowledge that we have and to do something with it. It's not about not making mistakes. It's not about always getting it wrong. It is having the self-trust that we have made a decision based on the data that we know, based on our experience, based on the knowledge that we have, and then doing something with it. An analogy that I always use is in the UK, we have to take a theory test before we can go ahead and do our practical driving test. Well, if you pass your theory test, you know the ins and outs of driving and the road signs and you recognize road conditions, etc. That's all well and good. But if you haven't then got the confidence to apply that information, get into a car, take lessons, and ultimately take your driving test, then there's absolutely no point in knowing the theory because you're never going to put that into practice. So it is about creating that financial self-trust that you are going to do something based on the objectives that you have for your business growth and the goals that you have for your personal life as well. So what does a lack of money confidence look like? Well, you'll delay decisions. I'll come back to that later. I'll think about that at another point in time. You will over-explain or justify your prices. I'm charging this because I'm only charging this. It's just this amount of money. When you start explaining, you start turning people off because they wonder, well, why are they over explaining? Why are they not just giving me their price? You'll start avoiding certain numbers. You might not check your bank account on a regular basis. You might not actually look at the profit that's being made or understanding, is there profit in the pricing you're charging? Or are you so overgiving when it comes to your time? Somebody's asked you, for example, to run a workshop, in their membership. Have you worked out how long it's taking you to prepare that presentation, to get yourself ready to give that presentation? Or are you so keen to do that piece of work, you're completely undercharge? And also, and a number of people have spoken about this, the importance of boundaries, actually recognizing that no is a complete sentence rather than ending up saying yes, when actually what you should have said was no. But none of those things are money problems. They are actually based on problems that we're having with our own confidence, with our own self-worth, with our own self-value. And money decisions always come down to the identity that we are stepping into when we are making those decisions. How you see yourself with money shapes absolutely everything. When you are pricing, the discovery calls you're having, how you're marketing, how visible you are, how often you're showing up as your true self, how you decide what you price. All of those comes down to the identity that you're stepping into in your business. And when your identity is not certain and is unclear, what happens? Your confidence disappears. You start to feel under pressure. And when we're under pressure, our cortisol levels rise, and then we find it very, very difficult to make a decision that supports us. This isn't about faking it until you make it. It's about being it till you believe it. So, the money confidence lens I want you to think about when you're making decisions around money, around your pricing, and around removing the cap that so many people put on themselves when it comes to financial growth is understand, what is your identity? What do you believe about yourself and money? Do you believe you can charge more because of the results that you can bring? Do you believe you can say no when a client wants to have a call at the weekend, or they turn up late for an appointment but still expect to have the same length of time for that appointment? What are the beliefs that you are holding when it comes to your business and the amount of money that's possible for you to make? What feels safe to you? What feels risky? Or what are you allowing for yourself? Where are you limiting yourself? And what are the habits that you have created for yourself that you find yourself repeating simply because you feel uncomfortable? And when you're looking and thinking about that relationship with money, think about it through that lens. And if you don't lead your money identity, if you don't decide what is the identity I want to be stepping into, then quite simply, your old or existing money identity, it's going to lead you. And our unconscious patterns really do shape every single pattern, every single decision, sorry, that we make, and the results that follow from that decision. And what surprises people a lot when I coach them is how we do money is how we do everything. So if we don't have a strong relationship with money, if we are not leading that relationship with money, then it's going to show up in everything else, our relationships, our friendships, etc. So let me give you a quick money check-in, and this will take you less than 20 minutes to do, but it's extremely powerful. Think about, in the week, what decisions am I avoiding? Where am I feeling the tension in avoiding that decision? And what one decision would help me create clarity? Because very often it's the decision that we're fearing rather than what happens as a result of making that decision. Making that decision can give us a huge sense of relief. And by understanding the answers to those questions, it reduces the emotional load that you are carrying. Because when we have an emotional load that we are carrying, then our decisions start to become unclear. When our decisions are unclear, that means that we stop making really clear financial decisions. And that's when we start making decisions that are either not good for us or ones that don't give us the result that we're looking for. So remember, your language is as important when it comes to leadership, because language is there before money confidence actually shows up. People will hear what you are saying and they will believe what you're saying based on the language that you're using. So I always encourage people to think positively about how they are talking about money, because the language that you are using will signal whether you trust yourself or not. So this doesn't work for me financially, rather than underpricing. I'm comfortable with this decision, commit to a decision. And this is the price that supports my business. Because when you have financial self-trust, that changes everything. So become the financial leader your business needs. Start thinking about leading with the money identity you want to have. This allows you to reduce the emotional load. It in turn allows you to make cleaner decisions. And remember, our language reflects more than our body language ever will. Because when you trust yourself with money, your business flows. So that's a quick whistle stop tour. There you can scan a QR code to actually take the Money Leaders quiz. That will allow you to understand more about your relationship with money and how that is being reflected onto who you work with and how you work with them. Over to you, Sandra.
Thank you for that, Lesley. And we'll just leave that QR code up there. Just keep sharing for a while. Interesting. Emma Michael said this is especially true when you have ADHD, constantly buying courses to improve myself when I know enough already. And sometimes, when you are, it's the decision making and having the confidence, isn't it, in the money decisions that you make.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly it. It is recognizing that, of course, very often is not what is needed to plug a gap. It's actually belief that you already know enough, you are enough, and that you learn by doing more of what you know rather than learning more about what you don't know.
Yeah. Lesley says, how do people with serious dyscalculia cope? Not enough schools, universities understand this difficulty or help people to understand to cope. It's not down to confidence for dyscalculia. Do you have a way to assist?
Unfortunately, no, because I am no expert when it comes to dyscalculia. Where I work from is that position of understanding what is going on for us at a relationship level with money. So I wouldn't want to give any advice that I'm just not experienced in. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Lots of lovely comments about great tips. So from my perspective, we listened to Mita earlier, who did her tapping around money in a different way. Would you say money confidence and asking yourself those questions comes first before you decide that you're worth it and you can step in and use those affirmations? Or would you get into a place where you're feeling, okay with money and that you've got the mindset and then work on the confidence? What's your view?
I think they run side by side. Money mindset is never one and done. So it's not a job where you go, I'm going to go on this course, I'm going to do the tapping and that's it then, I'm sorted forever. I'm sure Mita would agree, new levels, new devils. So it's about recognizing what is it I need? What is stopping me from growing my business in the way that I want to grow it? Am I looking out at other people and feeling less than, and therefore I'm shrinking away from being more visible? Am I lacking clarity in how I'm conveying what I do and how I do it? And a big one for lots of people is they don't share the testimonials that clients give them, or they don't even ask clients for testimonials. And I think sharing what you do and clients supporting you in them sharing how you have helped them goes hand in hand with the inner work that we always need when we are moving from one stage in our business through to the next.
Yeah. Question here just before we finish from Helen Cole. When you are a year in business, but obviously have lots of experience before then, but a different industry, how do you suggest people can tackle their money confidence then?
I don't think it's necessarily industry specific. I think it's a case of you've come from one industry and you're moving into another, and it's not having that crutch of experience directly from that industry. But when people see that you're showing up, when they're seeing you're being authentic, when they can see what you can do for them, then slowly but surely you're starting to lean into the confidence that they have in your ability to help them. And I think it's looking for those role models. We've all seen those role models who have started off being successful, understand how did they achieve the level of success that they have? What do I need to do to emulate what they have done, and to understand we are the total of the five people we spend most of our time with, and taking on that messaging and understanding, are they, like you would say, Sandra, are they Debbie Downers, or are they supporting me in what I want to do? So I think it is a combination of all of that, basically.
Well, thank you, Lesley.
Thank
Sadly, we
you.
have run out of time, but really